All right, guys, welcome back to Only Divergences. Just a quick update here on the S&P 500 today. We saw it rise again just by a fraction of a percent, and we are now back to within 1% of new all-time highs, I think. So on a daily time frame, we can see S&P 500 above all the moving averages here, and in particular, we do not see anything necessarily bearish, right? Look, we will get some sort of a pullback or consolidation, and it will happen soon. I mean, even take a look at the NASDAQ here, QQQ. We already had a red day, and this is a doji reversal. So I would not be surprised if we see lower prices here, and we are already down after hours. So back to the S&P 500. We can see in this rally here, this is not something that is kind of an acceleration or showing any sort of bearish divergence potential just yet. Sure, we can have a bearish pullback, but the question right now is whether that pullback is one that can be easily or effectively shorted. And for me personally, that answer right now is no, or at least I'm not interested in doing so. If we want to compare the current move with a potential analog, which is always a good exercise, we can actually go back to last September, October, November. Now this, interestingly enough, this correction here, this is last year, last September, October, November. This correction started on September 2nd, and our correction started also on September 2nd. So mark your calendars, guys. But we can see in this analog that we had a nice bounce after the low, but it faded short of the new all-time high. We want to know if we will have a similar fade, because if we look back at this, this looked bullish. This was within 1% of the new all-time highs, but this was a very extended trend. So are we going to have the same thing here? Look, while we can compare these two moves, the current one was on a bounce that had a much stronger setup than this one back here, and that's one of the reasons why I argue this moved so much higher, so much faster. Now I like to use this DMI indicator here, and you can see that this green here, which indicates a kind of a pent-up bullish potential, was high for a very long time here as we were coming down here. The same cannot be said of this move down here. We can see green was elevated only slightly, right? And then it came up and it had this move, and that put the stock into a bit of an oversold momentum territory here, and so it was forced to come back. Now we're getting close to there, right? It's not the exact same, but we're getting pretty close, and this is a pretty long rally. So this was a stronger setup, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to consolidate here a little bit. In fact, that's what I favor here. Now, we will hit a point where market participants take profits, and it would make sense for that to be at the previous highs. So I would not be surprised if we do get a little bit of consolidation. As we pointed out, the NASDAQ has not hit new all-time highs, and it already had a reversal day. So after the largest correction that we've had in months, we've been in a very nice accumulation phase for a couple weeks. And if we start to see some selling here prior to the all-time high, we might need to take a deeper look, because if any sort of a stall turns into something like this, then we very well may be in a position where we will be reversing. That being said, I don't exactly see that as being the highest probability potential, but we're going to keep an eye on it. As of now, there's really nothing to do in terms of buying here or selling. There will be other opportunities that present themselves. Speaking of which, I want to provide an update. Yesterday, I stated that I was long Robinhood at the close. Let's just take a look at the chart here. The stock was higher this morning, and then it dropped, and then it did a little bit of bounce. This was a little too choppy for me, even though I was in a profit for most of the trade. I did sell it at a 5% loss. Again, this was a little messy for me. If we go down to the hourly, we can see that there was just quite a lot of chop going on here. If it goes higher, that's fine. I'm interested in things that are a bit cleaner, but I will go over the trade in more detail on the Friday video, as well as the Facebook trade that I did earlier this week. What I was looking for is I was hoping this green would follow through a bit higher here. but it was just too choppy on the lower levels. So I think that's my fault. I misjudged that and didn't see it perfectly. But again, 5% is really no big deal. But I will still be watching Robinhood as it has come down here for some time, and it's only a matter of time before we do get some sort of a move. Just not sure what it's going to be and when it's going to be. So that's it for now. I'll be watching the S&P 500 and especially the QQQ because this is interesting. I'll probably do a bit of deeper analysis tonight. But just a reminder, we are in the middle of earnings season now. And if you are in options, please understand what implied volatility crush is, what IB crush is. Be patient, take some days off, and just get a feel for markets where they are now, especially after this nice rally that we've had over the past few days. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. Remember to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow after the close. Take care, guys.